Hello there.
Hello there, troopers, and welcome back to General Kenobi's Bunker. Thank you so much for joining me here on our first new episode of General Kenobi's Bunker's Debrief. So, thank you for joining me here on this fine Thursday night. Yeah, I know. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, didn't you told everybody you were gonna be doing these reviews right as they're coming out? Yeah, I did. And then guess what? Then life was like, yeah, no, you don't get to choose. So anyway, here we are again on Thursday night. We're ready. We're gonna talk about Bad Batch. Yep, that's what we're here for. That's what this show is all about. Plenty to talk about with 3 episodes. And I think by now, it's been well over 24 hours since the episodes dropped. So I think pretty much everybody that wanted to see them has seen them or is well on their way. Again, I get it. 3 episodes. It is a little bit harder, right? But I think pretty much everybody has already seen them. And if not, you probably saw a few reviews out there already, all right? Because yeah, man, those YouTubers do not waste time at all. So thanks again for joining me here. Special night and special episode, I guess. Again, it's been a while since we've done the debrief. We did it last year for Bad Batch Season 2. Here we are back with Bad Batch Season 3, the final season. I know, right? So we are off to, I don't know if I can say off to a good start. All right. And maybe we'll save that conversation for a few minutes. But we are definitely off to a big start, which is again 3 episodes, guys. We got 3 episodes of the show. Um, quite a bit, quite a bit, and yet, I don't know. What do you guys think? It didn't really feel like 3 episodes worth, for me. Yeah, I don't know. It was, I don't know. Again, it just didn't feel like we got 3 episodes, right? But let me know what you guys think. So, in case this is your first time here in the channel, we hope that you stick around. We hope that you like it. We hope that you check us out over on YouTube, General Canoe's Bunker, and where we do obviously some live streams, and we're gonna be talking about Bad Batch season 3 going forward. We also like to do some toy hunting. We do toy reviews. We do some toy talks as well, where you guessed it, we talk toys. And you know we um we try to cover some of the Star Wars news as stuff is going on too. So please check us out again over here on YouTube, General Kenobi's Bunker. So make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. And if you're a subscriber, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being part of the Bunker Bunch. That's right. All right, we already got a few people coming in here, so let me jump right into the chat. We got AZ saying hello, General. What's going on, AC? Thank you so much for joining the stream. Appreciate you. Hey, we got Mega Demon Collect saying, Ayo, what's up, man? Thank you, thank you. We got LeBron, one of our amazing moderators here in the channels, saying, hello, everybody. Thank you for coming in, man. Appreciate it. Mega Demon saying hi to LeBron. And LeBron saying, I haven't seen it yet. Really? Really? And I thought I was coming really, really late into the game. Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I will not take offense if you want to jump off the stream, go watch it, and then come back and catch the replay and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the episodes. I'm very curious. Okay. I haven't, okay. I haven't really seen anybody's review. Okay. And that's not, against anybody, but I kind of wanted to give you guys my impressions without being influenced yet. So it's been very difficult. Okay, um, yesterday I was super busy and I didn't watch the episodes till till later than this, later than well, it's eight o'clock over here. I think I started watching them like around 9 p.m. and I may or may not have dozed off on that first one. So anyway, the point is that I didn't finish watching until like 10 p.m. So by that point it was kind of late for a stream, and honestly I was just beat. So here we are today. We're gonna talk about it. But if you haven't seen it, Again, maybe you want to jump off the stream because we are going to be talking about spoilers. Okay, we're going to go into the details kind of every episode. So please be warned, we are going to be talking about spoilers. Um, we're not really going to be holding back here, since it's also been past 24 hours. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want to be spoiled, um, go ahead. You can check out the stream later and let me know down in the comments what did you guys think about it. Hey, we got Josh saying I haven't seen it yet. Oh man, all right. That's I'm actually a little bit surprised. I thought everybody was jumping on it, but we are back to the I guess to the regular schedule, or at least the old schedule for Disney Plus releases. So the episodes drop around 2 a.m. for us here in the central region. So I definitely am not watching at that time. I can't. I wish I could, but yeah. So I've been yesterday. Yesterday was actually easy to stay off of social media because I was so busy at work that I didn't really have a chance. But as soon as I got out, I had to consciously not go into Instagram or things like that, in order to not be spoiled, right? And like I said, I ended up watching it a lot later than I thought I was going to, but yeah, I finally caught up to it, and like I said, full disclosure, guys, I kind of fell asleep on the first one. All right, but we do have quite a bit to talk about. So, what do you say if we get started? But before we get started, if you already saw the episode, let me know what you think about it. I posted a poll here on the chat in YouTube. So go ahead, submit your vote, and we'll check in a little while. So also, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys check us out over on Facebook. We're trying to grow the community over there. And so check us out over on Facebook. If you notice, the address is kind of misspelled. Don't ask me why Facebook did that. That's like I don't know. It's weird. Okay, but that's technically the address that will take you there. So yeah, please check us out over there on Facebook, General Economics Bunker, and we'd appreciate it if you follow us. And I pinned the link to the top of the chat here as well. So yeah, would appreciate it if you guys check us out over there. So, what do you guys say? And we jump right into the first episode. Um, Again, we had 3 episodes, and I was super excited about that part. But they kind of, I don't know, they kind of came and went, right? Not well. You tell me. So, as we like to do here on Debrief, we try to cover some of the details of the episode, right? Now, we got 3 episodes to cover tonight, so I'm not going to go frame by frame by no means. We are going to do this, kind of a lightning round for each episode so that we can cover all three. Again, if anybody has any spot or any scenes that they think it's important, let me know in the chat. Also, if you are watching this on the replay, I appreciate you, first of all. Thank you for doing that. You are part of the Bunker Bunch, but also let me down in the comments. Let me know what you thought about each episode, okay? Or are you regarding them all as like the premiere, right? Are you thinking about it like, hey, it's just one big premiere for the show, and so we take it like that? But without further ado, let's jump right into it. So again, actually, you know what? We are gonna do this and say explicitly that we are gonna be talking about spoilers, if I could spell. There you go. Bad Batch spoilers. So spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right. So we kick off things. You guessed it, on Tantis. We got now we're seeing plenty of regular stormtroopers, right? Or what I like to call Macquarie troopers. So these guys go down in a shuttle, and then it seems like they get eaten basically. So there goes that. Plenty of the doc, good old doc here on scene, quite a bit. Also, we do get a lot of clone commandos, and more on that later. But so here we are in the facility Omega, is working kind of like a research assistant. Really, she's just ferrying things left and right. Um, Nobody really knows what the research is, or they don't say it explicitly here. And that's her sister, Emery, who's kind of like, mild neglect type of thing. Not really showing too much connection there. Anyway, we still see Nalase, who is the just about the only Kaminoan left, right? Especially the only Kaminoan scientist left who's helping, Dr. Pershing uh, complete his task, right, for the Emperor. So she Omega takes, some samples, some blood samples from pretty much all of the clones, right, to her. Then she realizes that amongst those samples there is Omega's, and she destroys it. And she tells Omega, "Hey, make sure that they never really test your blood because that's gonna put you in danger." And Omega's like, "Why am I even here? Why they brought me in?" To which Nala says, "Well, because they want you to cooperate." So again, plenty of clone commanders keeping a close watch. I like Destroyed. It's kind of like the prototype for K2SO, the way I look at it. So I kind of like the way this one looks. Very different head, but the body, definitely starts to resemble K2SO. So, amongst her many duties, apparently, Omega has to feed some of the Lurkas. They're these beasts right here, and she's kind of sort of starts to befriend one of them. And one thing I did like, about the show is that they keep showing clone troopers, and they're not doing so hot, right? They're not doing great. They are either kind of sick looking, or they're pretty much looking down. They're kind of looking defeated. And in this particular case, they're you know they're prisoners. They're kind of being experimented on. They don't really show you much about that, but to the surprise of nobody, if you saw the little preview clip they posted about a week ago, Omega, spends her nights or her afternoons going and talking to Crosshair. Crosshair is like, "Hey, come on, kid, like, give me a break. I'm in jail as it is." Um, he keeps telling her, "Stay focused. Don't even bother with me. We're kind of done." To which Omega says, "No, we're not. We family." Um, so the episode kind of starts around 1 month into her new job, let's say, because they say that technically she's not a prisoner, but I mean she's pretty much a prisoner. She does get to roam around, and she gets meals, and she has her own room, so it's not really like a bad situation like the clones, but for intents and purposes she's still a prisoner. So like any good prisoner, she has a countdown of rotations, and so we see her here just around 1 month, after being there on Mount Tantis. And then she fixes herself a little doll that from stuff that she stole during her, I guess, during her tours of the facility where she goes and picks up things. And then let me see if I can catch it here. Um, yeah, so we got a time skip ahead, and what I calculated from the marks on the wall, this is about 5 months in total. So 4 months later from where we started the episode. And as you can see, her hair changed. And if you see a little bit here from the back, she actually a little ponytail. Her hair has been growing. She again gets her blood extracted. And yeah, I okay. Let me just get through the episode. Okay. So once again, she gets her blood extracted. I don't know if they do this on a daily basis. Um, Again, she kind of takes it over to Nalase, and then Nalase destroys the sample and kind of tells her the same thing. It's like, "Hey, don't let them test your blood." One little detail I did like here is that they're testing pretty much everybody's blood, and the way they test it, they add blood to it. Okay, and they do say that they're looking for an M count. transfer, right? Or replica. Let's just call it what it is. M count is imperial speak for midichlorians. So we know they're trying to clone the force in a way, shape, or form, right? But like I said, I kind of did like that little detail. So that's not, let's say, destroying the sample. I kind of did like little detail. Let me see if I can get it here. Um, See right there, that's an example of a sample being tested. See that they add that blood. So I'm assuming that blood is high on midichlorian counts, which means force sensitive or flat out Jedi. So I like that little detail there. I'll be honest with you, that's about my favorite thing about the episode. But let's keep going. So um, she Omega befriends and names one of the Larkas. Uh, the Larka's hurt, so the droid is like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna put her down because that's no use to us." To which, of course, Omega's like, "No, you gotta help her." And then she keeps talking to Crosshair, who is pretty tired, and he's like, "Come on, like seriously, it's been going on for like 5 months. Can you cut me a break? Like, if you're gonna escape, just go ahead and escape. Don't worry about me. If I was going to escape, I wouldn't worry about you." To what Omega is a little bit offended about that. They kind of have a touchy moment here when Crosshair says, "Hey, like I belong in here, okay? So don't worry about me." And then Omega says, "Nobody belongs in here." So okay, um, and so we get a what do they call this? A routine, I guess surprise inspection to her quarters. Clone Commandos and Emery, and they find her doll that she made a few months ago, and Emery takes it away. Right. Then we got this little room that the Doctor and Nalase visit quite often. They call it the vault. It's highly secure. You see all the layers of ray shield. Look at all those clone commandos just standing there, right? That's quite the heavy security. Not to mention they got another level up there, right? So we're kind of led to believe that whatever is providing that high M count blood is probably in there. So uh, they do say they have been partially successful. They managed to transfer an M count from one specimen to another, but it was a failure to the eyes of the Doctor because the M count was severely reduced. And so he's saying, hey, we gotta straight up transfer or even improve the M count, right? So even though it's a step in the right direction, he still calls it a failure. And of course, he suspects that Nala is just basically biding her time, right? Like delaying the progress for the Empire. So then Omega comes back to visit her friend. And then, how do you call it? Then they're like, oh, yeah, no, we're going to put her down. We're going to put the Larka down because she has been sort of tamed and she's been tamed because of you. And Omega, tries to basically save her, squashes the droid, the guard droid, tells the thing to escape, right? And off she goes. She gets found out, and the doctor is like, "Oh, you think you saved her? Like, there's plenty of bad things out there. Are just gonna, basically kill her anyway." Um, and the same, can be he starts flexing on her, saying, "Hey, if you don't behave, they're gonna start to hurt people." And how do you call it? To watch, Omega is like, hey, I know you need me, right? Like I'm the incentive for Nalase to keep working. And he says, no, you're right. I'm not talking about hurting you. I'm talking about hurting Crosshair. He does say something interesting though. He says, I do have plans for Crosshair, right? But he has been resisting to the re-education efforts. So if I have to sacrifice him, then that's what it is, right? And then, Emery just basically says, "Hey, don't worry about it. It's all for the greater good." And she's actually nice enough to return the doll that was confiscated earlier. And there it is. She hears Alarka on that crashed shuttle, and that's kind of it for the first episode. So yeah, yeah, that that was the first episode. All right. If we would have gotten that, just that one, as a premiere, I would have been like, yeah, no, this is not great. All right. Yeah, let me catch up here with the chat. We got Chris from the Man Collect saying, "Good evening, all. What's going on, man? Thank you so much for joining." We got our brother Nerd Affiliated who was just doing his stream. He's saying, "Hey, what's going on here? I want more Ryan Johnson movies." He is making more movies, just no more Star Wars movies. We got Ricardo saying, "What's going on?" Hey, General Kenobi. Hello, everyone in the chat. Appreciate you coming in, man. AC saying, "Didn't General Grievous try to do that to himself but failed?" Yeah. So at least in the Legends books now, the blood of who was it? Sifo Dyas, I think, was injected into Grievous when they were making him a cyborg, and the idea was to give him the Force, right? But it didn't. It didn't really work out. Um, Rolando, what is going on, brother? Appreciate you coming in. And Ricardo saying hi to Rolando too. Figure Fever saying, Junkless Bunker, good evening 2.0. Hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you. Rolando saying hi to everybody. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, episode one. So we kind of established what Omega is doing and what Crosshair is doing, which is not a whole lot. Okay, it's just not. It's not. Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on. So I think they're trying to establish that you know they're captives, and they establish the time jump. Okay, which I can appreciate. I can appreciate that they're showing us that it's being several weeks and then it's been months, right? It's been months by the end of the episode since they've both been there in Mount Tantis. Um, Omega is kind of like not really losing hope, like she's still talking about escaping, things like that. Whereas Crosshair is like, hey, I already tried, I failed, just leave me here and just stop coming over and talking to me, okay? You're making it worse. In terms of the story, we do get flat out mention of M count, which again, was first introduced in The Mandalorian, and I think we all know that, right? M count again is it's basically midichlorians. So they're messing around with midichlorians. They're messing around with transferring, as they call it, midichlorians, right? And I think we kind of all know that that's something that Palpatine really wants done, right? But aside from that, I don't think we really get too much out of the episode. Yeah, I don't know. This one kind of felt like it could have been, half of an episode to explain all of this, and then we could have just moved on to honestly to what happened in episode 3, which we will cover in a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, if this would have been the only episode um, for the premiere, oof, roughies, roughies, roughies. So let me check in here with the poll actually. So for episode 1, we're gonna go ahead and end the poll. So if you haven't voted, please go ahead. So there, we're gonna end the poll here. And okay, it's a little bit surprising. So for episode 1, we have 54. Wow, I can't even talk. 54% saying it was amazing. Overwhelming majority. Okay. 18% said, why do they even spend the pixels? 18% said, there's new Star Wars. And 9% said, meh. I am I'm somewhere between meh and why even do it? Like I said, I'm trying to understand the purpose of the episode. I'm trying to see why they felt we needed to see all of that. I'm having a hard time, to be honest with you. Again, if it was to establish the status of Omega and Crosshair, that could have been done in 30 seconds, right? If it was to establish the fact that Omega's blood is important, again, we kind of figured that one out, right? I mean, everybody keeps saying she's important. And if it was to establish the fact that they're experimenting with midichlorians, again, after Rise of Skywalker, everything has to do with midichlorians when it comes to cloning. All right, like that's just almost a given now. So yeah, I was not a big fan of Episode One for this new season of Bad Batch. Um, yeah, it's just not it. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just say I was very glad that we had two more episodes. Okay, available, but yeah, no. Okay, so let's see here what the chat is saying. Our brother Archer from Nerd Affiliating saying 1 out of 10 of the episode. Yeesh. Saying zero, maybe. I'll start episode 3 now so I can be in the chat with you talking about it. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And again, guys, we are talking spoilers for Bad Batch. If you're just coming into the stream, we're talking, some of the details that we saw on the episode. We are showing some of the images for the episode. So please keep that in mind. If you don't want anything spoiled, if you haven't seen Bad Batch Season 3, you can always go ahead, go watch it, exit the stream, come back for the replay, and let me know down in the comments what did you guys think. Did you guys agree with what I'm saying, over here? According to the poll, no, you don't. Like everybody, like more than half of you guys liked the episode quite a bit. Hey, what's going on, man? Thousand Gold says, I still haven't watched it yet, so I don't want any spoilers. Just wanted to come by and say hey to everybody in the bunker. Hey, man, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. And again, I will not take offense if you guys, uh, uh, don't watch this stream right now. Um, just a reminder, we're going to be trying to do this pretty often or as soon as a new episode drops. Hopefully next Wednesday, since it's only one episode, we should be better at it. So again, sorry I couldn't join you guys yesterday night. Yeah, that day just got out of hand. All right, so let's see here. Okay, so what do you guys think? Let's wrap up with episode 1 since really there's not that much to say, to be honest. Again, I wasn't a fan. But what do you say if we jump over to episode 2? Okay. So, once again, we're going to talk about the second episode of Bad Batch Season 3. And we are talking spoilers. We are going to be showing some images for the episode. So, you guys have been warned. So, with that said, let's go right into it. Okay. So, episode 2, called Paths Unknown. I don't know. Did I tell you guys what the. Anyway. So, episode 2, we open up with a pretty cool shot, of a city. Let me just preface, this show looks gorgeous. Okay, it's been looking better and better, I think, every season, and this season, I don't feel it's the exception, not yet, anyway. So, the settings, the backgrounds, the ships, even some of the clones, like they all look great so far, at least. So, anyway, we sort of come into the Deveronians, and they're having some sort of court meeting. The ruler is talking to Hunter and Wrecker, which, by the way, are the only ones left in the Marauder right now. I mean, Crosshair and Omega in are in Mount Tantis, and Echo is out with Rex, right? So it's just them two, which is kind of funny. Um, it's kind of funny. It's the dynamic. A little bit sad, actually, more than funny. But anyway, so these guys just completed a job to return the horn of this guy here, and they brought in a pike, which they're like, oh, if you went against the pikes, it's because you're desperate. The payment they're asking is information on the location of the secret Imperial lab where they're keeping Omega. Again, so this family is pretty influential in the underworld, so they've got some intel, right? which they present to the Bad Batch as form of payment. Hunter is like, "Oh, you guys check this out, right? Like the information," and they're like, "Yeah, sure, buddy, whatever, go away." Um, and so our heroes depart on their spaceship. While they are in hyperdrive, they did have this cool scene. Let's see if I can catch it. Yeah, so they are in the Havoc Marauder, and I actually really like the scene because we get to see Tech's busted goggles, and then a little bit later we get to see Omega's um, doll. Yeah, right there. So I actually kind of like that because Hunter is constantly, reminding himself of his failures, really, right? To save his brother and to save his. It's sort of color. She calls them brothers, right? But I kind of feel like they're more like dads, right? And so I think they view Omega more like a daughter than a sister at this point. Anyway, so I did like those little touches. I'm actually pretty okay with that. Self-loading is always fun. And Wrecker, informs Hunters like, hey, uh, Echo said that him and Rex need 2 days to meet us at the coordinates we got. And Hunter's like, no, we can't wait that long. He's like, we're gonna go in. And it's I meant when I said funny, is this is one of the parts that it was funny because Wrecker is the voice of reason on this, and he's like, hey man, last time we went in, um, into an Imperial base, just us, not everybody made it out. So maybe you want to think about this, right? And Hunter's like, nope, we're doing this. So they showed up to the planet, jungle planet, pretty misty, all of that stuff, very green, very very green. They arrive, they're scanning for life forms. They can't really, get any power readings or anything like that. So they think they're being jammed, and then they found this. So that is the Imperial facility, and it's obviously in very very bad shape. So they gather that it's being bombarded from orbit, kind of like the way they did it with Camino. And they're like, okay, well, if Omega was here, like, is she gone? Like, was she caught up in all of this? So of course they got a lot of questions. They're thinking about what to do if they go explore, if they, maybe the intel was wrong, like all of that stuff. And as they're walking, they sort of kind of get ambushed by two, I wouldn't say kids, I want to say teenagers. And that's when they realize they are clone cadets. So what that means is they are younger clone troopers, right? That haven't made it to the trooper part quite yet. And so they tell them, hey, guess what? We're clones too. And they're like, yeah, you don't really look like clones. And of course, one of them is like, oh, I think they're 99s. They're defectives. To which Wrecker says, defectives but effectives. So I kind of like that. They explain the situation. Hey, we're looking for somebody, that used to, we have to know if she was here in this lab. And they're like, oh, we don't know, but Mox might know. And they're like, okay, could you take us? They start walking, through the jungle, and then they're like, hey, don't touch anything. Which of course Wrecker does. Touches one of the vines, and turns out the vines are sort of alive, and they attack them. They revealed that those vines were actually an imperial experiment that kind of got out of hand, and that's why the whole facility was, sort of evacuated. Actually, I take that back. It wasn't really evacuated. Well, they evacuated the Imperials, not the clone troopers. So these guys, the clone cadets, managed to escape. Sorry, just before the orbital bombardment, which leads me to believe there were plenty of clones in there that did not. They do say that they were transferred off from Camino to this planet, which they don't really name, and they thought they were getting training, but instead they were just thrown into jail. And then they said the Empire did experiments. They don't really go into details, but the point is that it looks like it wasn't going great for them, and only three of them actually made it out alive, before the orbital bombardment. So we get Mux, a slightly older clone cadet, which I'm gonna go ahead and say he's probably like maybe like a year or two older, which puts him at what, 2 or 4 years older. But the my favorite part of the episode is Mox, and let me tell you why. Not because of the character, but because of his voice. So Mox is actually voiced by our good buddy here from the channel, Daniel Logan. Yes, young Boba Fett makes a comeback voicing Mox, and I did find it a little, a little weird that he didn't voice the other guys, like the other clones. But hey, at least he voiced Mox, which was the leader, so that was good. He obviously talks to the clones and he's like, nope, I don't know any Omega. I do know the doctor. He was here. But when the vines got out of hand, they sort of had to evacuate. And then they, blasted us from orbit. We barely managed to escape. Um, so they're like, hey, we still need to check out the facility. One of them is saying, there's a console where we could probably pull some data. I'll take you guys. So he volunteers to lead Hunter and Wrecker back into it. The other two clone cadets oppose, Mox included, and so they start making their way into the facility. He says, "Hey, you know what? We do need power though. There's no power in that console." So Wrecker's like, "Oh, we got to pick up something from the ship," and he literally picks up Gonki. So Gonki makes a triumphant comeback, even though you can't see him. He's kind of like upside down. So off they go into the wreckage, trying to avoid those crazy vines. And so they obviously get attacked, of course, because there's plenty of vines that are coming from the lab. But these things had, I guess, a characteristic here. I'm trying to catch. So they cut off some of the pieces, right, with their knives and with blaster bolts. But check this out. They kind of sort of merge to make those delightful little creatures right there. Kind of creepy. I'm not gonna lie. I actually kind of really liked it. I kind of really liked it because it had sort of a little bit of a vibe, maybe like Dead Space, maybe a little bit like Half-Life 2, if anybody's old enough to remember those. Uh, so I was kind of into it. I was kind of into the setting, abandoned lab with the little weird, vines that can, sort of merge into the little weird creatures. They were mean looking too. Like they got like spikes and teeth and stuff. So yeah, I actually kind of enjoyed that from the episode. Anyway, our heroes, of course, make it up, to the console. But back in the little clone cadets layer, they're, debating if they're gonna be stealing the Bad Batch ship and just get out of there before the vines get to them. So uh, Hunter, Wrecker, and the clone cadet and Gonki, as you can see better right there, they make it to the terminal, to the console. The clone cadet's like, hey, buy me some time and I can tap into this data. Um, the other cadets make it to the ship and they board, right? But as they're getting on, they actually catch a glimpse. Oops. They catch a glimpse of Omega's doll. So that kind of, hits Mox the right way because they were all complaining earlier how they were just abandoned, right? They were abandoned by their brothers, even the other active clone troopers. So I think that definitely hit a chord there. And our hero here, of course, trying to fight for their lives while they're trying to get the data at the same time. Then we get the inevitable uh, reveal of what is the main body of the vines. Look at all those teeth. So, like I said, I kind of like this episode because it does give me a little bit of like horror vibes. I thought the creatures looked pretty mean. The setting was pretty cool. So yeah, so that is probably my favorite part of the episode. But the clone cadets, show up with the Havoc Marauder just in time, to save them, of course, and make their escape. So um, Hunter deciphers the data, and he's like, "Yeah, she was here, but they all got transferred, they all got moved." And he tells the cadets, we're gonna go drop you off at a safe place with good people. And they're like, okay, well, where? And he says, well, it's an island, like you'll be safe there. So they're going back to Phoebe's planet. And this is probably my favorite quote here, um, from the episode, because Mock says, we are cadets with no army, so we don't even know where we fit anymore. And I really like that, because um, that shows where most of these clones are at this point in the story, right? They've lost purpose. They were literally bred for one thing and one thing only, which was being a soldier. And now they don't have that. So they have no idea how to react or what to do. Hunter just says, hey, you guys got time, to still figure out, but we still have a mission. And, they sort of shake hands, and that's about it. So that is episode 2, Pat's Unknown. And yeah, what do you guys think about this one? Um, I gotta be honest with you. I think out of the three, this is the one that I enjoyed the most. But let me know what you guys thought here in the chat, and what would you rate it? Okay, 1 through 10. What would you rate it? Especially in comparison with that first episode. That first episode was kind of rough. Okay, kind of rough. Um, let's see. Archer saying, agreed. The show looks great. It does, man. Like they keep knocking it out of the park. Really, really good. Rolando saying hi to Thousand Ghosts. We got Edson saying hello. What's going on, man? Thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate you. You guys did an amazing job yesterday with the watch party and the afterwards analysis. You guys streamed for quite a bit. So if you haven't, definitely go check out Edson and his friends over at Mandalore Express here on YouTube. Edson says, great beginning. And Rolando says hi to Edson. So, episode 2, uh, Pat's Unknown. Uh, like I said, I liked it better, way better than the first episode. But it, I think it gave us a little bit more of what I've been saying I want to see, which is clone stories. Okay, so here we have 3 clone cadets that barely made it out alive. They feel betrayed because they thought, oh, they're taking us to get trained, and all of a sudden, they're in jail, and then they're experimenting on the older clones and stuff like that. And what I thought was pretty cruel, let's say, is that it was other clone troopers that were keeping them there, right? So at one point, one of them says, yeah, even the other clone troopers just told us that they were following orders. So it's kind of like that disregard for their brothers, right? Like, I don't know, not all clones are united, at least not yet. So I really like that part. Again, I do like to see the clone cadets sort of, hey, we don't really have a mission, right? We're just trying to survive at this point. We don't know what we're supposed to do or where we're supposed to go, but we're still surviving, right, and taking care of each other. And like I said, I kind of did enjoy the little bit of like horror game, setting. I kind of wish we would have seen a little bit more of that during the episode, but I get it. It's a short episode. Well, it's a shorter episode than episode 1, and I think it was only like 22 minutes. So I get it, but at the same time, it was kind of already there. So maybe a couple more minutes, inside the facility, with the creepy creatures would have been kind of cool. So yeah, I did enjoy that. We got our first mention of Echo and Rex. So they're out there, they're doing stuff, all right, getting into who knows what kind of trouble. And they're pretty busy, because if they needed 2 days to show up and help these guys, that means that they're definitely busy. They're definitely doing important stuff, because otherwise they would have just dropped everything on the spot and would have, showed up, to help, right, to help try to find Omega. So I like that detail. It's like, hey, we all know that Echo is out there with Rex, but let's not see him yet. Okay, let's not bring him in yet. Let's just mention him. We acknowledge it, and we say, hey, the man is busy. All right, the man is busy with other stuff. This is not his priority. Which again, I kind of like. I kind of like that. So, what did you guys think about this one? Like I said, I enjoyed it more. I love to see or to hear, I should say, Daniel Logan. Reprising his role of a young Boba Fett slash young clone. So very very cool. I love that Lucasfilm does that and brings back the people that are right for the role. A little bit weird that he's not the voice of all three clone cadets, but hey, at least we got Mox with him. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Like I said, to me, honestly, best one out of the three. But we still have one more to talk about. But let me take a sip of my refreshing beverage before we do that, because yeah, I've been talking a lot. There we go. Okay, so without further ado, actually no, let's actually do some ado. So guys, I would appreciate it if you follow us over on Facebook. The link is actually pinned to the top of the chat here. Again, we're kind of just trying to grow that page over there that we sort of neglected, right? So I would appreciate it if you guys follow us on Facebook. Check us out over on Instagram, general.kenobis.bunker, and TikTok at general_kenobis_bunker. Also, if you speak Spanish or just want to learn some Spanish, check us out over on the second channel, El Bunker del General Kenobi, where we make content in Spanish. We just dropped a toy hunt this week. We're probably going to drop another one over the weekend because I was lagging over on that channel. So definitely check it out. And I think coming soon, we're going to start doing some live streams. I kind of want to go try myself over there and see how good or how bad I am, at live streaming in Spanish. So stay tuned for that. But again, definitely check us out. All right. So what do we got here? So Archer says about halfway through episode 3. Ooh, oof. All right. I don't know if I can wait, 15 minutes, but let's see. Tony, our brother from Star Wars Sid saying, Poppy, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming in, dude. Nerdfilin says this could have been episode 2, and episode 2 could have been part of episode 1. Yep. I was actually, yeah. Yeah. Episode 1 could have been 5 minutes of episode, and episode 2 could have been the rest, and then episode 3, right? So I hear you. Sith says nerd affiliated. Tony says, damn, I'm at the end. Am I at the end? It's all right. We still got one more episode. We're gonna run through it though. We're not gonna stay too long. Nerd and strong. Love it. So if you haven't, guys, and you want to stay at the tippy top of Star Wars news, you gotta check out my brother Tony here, Star Wars Sith. Um, he is actually staying up to watch these episodes as soon as they drop into the app or into the website, into Disney Plus. He's right there, bright eyed and bushy tailed, ready to spend, about 6 hours, without sleep, just so he can watch him, review him, post the video. So, again, if you want to stay in the know as fast as you can, as soon as you can, check out my brother here, Tony, from Star Wars Sith. Again, he's actually covering these like live as they drop. So if you guys have a little bit of a insomnia, definitely check him out. Tony says, "No, I go to sleep, then wake up at 3 a.m. I'm old. I need to sleep before." I don't know about that, dude, because you're good with like 2 hours of sleep, and then off you go. You make like 7 videos before you head out to work. So Nerdflin says, this sucks. Episode 3 is actually good. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So apologies to our friend Archer, but we are gonna uh jump here into episode 3 kind of quickly because we are running out of time. Um, let's go. So once again, if you're joining the stream, we are doing a review of each episode of Bad Batch season 3 with spoilers. Okay, we're showing images, we're talking what happened during the episode. So if you don't want to be spoiled, by all means, go ahead and exit the stream, come back later on, watch it, And let me know down in the comments what you thought. Do you agree with my assessments, with my debrief, let's call it? So here we go, episode 3. All right, so episode 3, Shadows of Tantis. We kind of catch back up to where we left Omega and in Mount Tantis, right? Again, she still has that day job, where she follows around and basically carries blood all over. But this time around, she notices that there's quite the increase in troop activity, quite a bit of troopers around. Once again, she gets her blood drawn, and then Nalase and the doctor come in. Doctor's like, hey, by the way, we're having a pretty interesting visitor today, so we're gonna be busy. Emery, you take over and you start testing some blood. All right, and to which Nala says like, "Hey, you gotta listen to me, Omega." Like she's, which I thought was a little bit funny because she wasn't really whispering. She's kind of just like not yelling either, but just talking normal volume. I'm like, dude, there's clone troopers all around. The doctor's right there. Like I would think somebody would heard it, but yeah, I don't know. I was like, I just not really secretive. I don't know. I bumped into that a little bit. Anyway, to sum it up, Nala says like, "Hey, you gotta run. If they test your blood, you're gonna be in danger. So either stop, uh, like don't let them test your blood. But if you have no choice, then you know what? I think it's time for you to escape. Just go ahead and grab my iPad, my data pad, and steal a shuttle and get out of here. More on that later, by the way. And our guest is arriving, and so we see again a bunch of clone commandos, and I actually had a little bit of trouble with so many clone commandos. Yeah. Anyway, so Omega walks into the lab where Emery is starting to test the clones' blood samples again. Again, they what they do is they pour some of midichlorian blood into them, and they notice if the transfer is successful or not. Um, okay, let's just keep going. And Emery, for the first time, is kind of nice to Omega. Um, she's like, "Hey, you all right?" And Omega's like, "Oh yeah, sure." And she's like, "You know what? Just take the day off. All right, go rest. I'll check up on you later." And Omega's, of course, trying to get her sample. She can't because it's now in the machine, so it'd be pretty obvious that she would have to stop it. But she does go and snags, so which again, apparently, those pads are a thing now. And then we get a pretty cool scene. Okay, so we get a guest coming to check up on the progress of the good doctor, and I think a little bit of spoiled, from the trailer. Um, but yeah, we get Palps, we get Papa Palps in the house. So yeah, the Emperor himself has come to Mount Tantis to check on the progress, and so very very cool. But um, check. Oh, let me see if I can get the shot because this was a problem for me. Okay, yeah, here we go. Where are they? Where are they? Oh, come on, don't tell me. I think it's this guy's here on this first side. Um, it's just a bunch of clone commandos. To which I say clone commandos were like, they were like S tier, in the clone army. Like there wasn't that many of them. There were like 100 tops, and all of a sudden we got plenty to go around. Like they're all clone commandos now. So yeah, I don't know. They're just not special anymore. Let's just put it that way. I grew up, with the Clone Commando games and the comic books, etc. So to me, those guys, there was only a few squads of Clone Commanders in the whole army, and now all of a sudden, it's like the whole army are Clone Commandos. Um, anyway, let's keep going with the episode here. So Of course, the doc is giving very, very good news about all the stuff that they're doing. I did find this interesting here. He says exotic matter facilities have expanded, and he says, that allows us to test uh, bigger and more complicated subjects. So, is he experimenting on the Silo Beast, skin? You guys remember the Silo Beast? It came out in, well, first of all, it came out in Clone Wars, and then it came out back again after like 10 years in Bad Batch Season 2. So, I thought it was interesting that the doc was talking about exotic matter. Um, to which Palpatine is like, "Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. I do need that. But you know what I'm here today. Like, come on, don't mess around." And so we get to see the entrance of the vault again. Again, very, very secure. It looks like, right? Plenty of ray shields, and plenty of security. So Omega with the pad. Let me see if I can catch that. Okay, so this was my favorite scene of the whole episode. Maybe like second favorite. Pup's arrival was pretty good, but check this out. Oh, come on. So she hacks the elevator. Well, not really hacks because she is using the actual controller from Nala Say. But then check it out. A mouse droid tries to goes in, and she does this and just kicks the thing out of the door. I don't know. I found that so hilarious and like so entertaining to watch. Don't ask me why. Okay, leave me alone. Anyway, so she's obviously going out to get her boy Crosshair, and he's like, "Oh, come on, like I told you, like stop it." And she's like, "Hey, just call the guards. I got the rest." So with the data pad again, she manages to open the door, and of course, Crosshair, takes down two guards, two regular Imperial stormtroopers, right? So two Macquarie troopers, as I like to call them. And of course, they start to escape. Again, just using that pad like a key. They found out that the emperor is visiting, so they're like, "Oh no, that's pretty bad." Um, she gets the information that there's no shuttles allowed to fly except the emperor's, and she's like, "Okay, well, let's just steal it." To which Crosshair's like, "Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen." But then she remembers that the doc mentioned a crashed shuttle in the first episode of Bad Batch, right? And so, yeah, so she's like, "Oh, we could find, the crashed shuttle." To which Crosshair's like, "Why do we want to crush shuttle?" And he's like, "Well, because um, we can use it to send, a signal to Hunter and Wrecker and get us out of here." And he's like, "All right, well, how do we get out?" She's like, "Oh, we can use the Larkas exit, right? Because the Larkas were used to sent out of the facility to basically track down or to scare away other beasts, I guess. Now, this this is very, very interesting. I really, really like this like scene here, or this setting, because I kind of think that this tanks, this little silos, are actually full of Jedi, or at least Force sensitive. Um, because we don't really see what's inside, but check it out. Doesn't it look pretty Sith like? With all the red, with all the lights. Check out the runes on the bottom, the symbology like throughout them. These things look dope. Okay, first of all, like this, I really like this shot. But like I said, I'm pretty sure this is their blood farm. Like they had, in Blade. What was that? Like Blade 2, Blade 3. I remember. Um, just of Jedi. So this is where they're getting their samples from. So Palps and the doc go in. He does open one, but we don't really get to see, of course, what's in there. He does say specimen, so again, it just makes sense that there are Jedi in there, or even younglings. Younglings would be, ooh, that would be good writing right there. Palpatine is basically saying, this is the most important thing, going on with the Empire right now. So any resource that you need, you got it. Um, We come back to Emery, who's still testing some of the blood, and including omegas is in their rotation. So they make it out to the pens. There is some ratios that they need to go through. They actually get found out by Emery, who basically says, "Hey, you know what? Let's just go back. No harm, no foul. Nobody has to know. Come on." And Omega's like, "I can't." And she's like, "Come on, yes, you can." And she's like, "No, I'm not gonna." And so Emery's like, "All right, well, I'm sorry." And she activates like a beacon, like a locator, right? And so of course, Crosshair drops her, stunned. So they gotta get away, and then we have Palpatine exiting again. Plenty of clone commandos, plenty, and the doc kind of shoots a shot, saying, "Hey, if I was the Minister of Science, I would do great things." And Palpatine's like, "Yeah, sure." So anyway, they Omega and Crosshair get out into the jungle. Um, they inform of the alarm, and of course, the doc sent the Lurkas behind him. Um, he is, of course, starting to doubt, how they were managed to get away, and Omega with that data pad again. She locates the shuttle. They do get attacked by another being called the Dryax, which is like a werewolf armadillo type of thing. Pretty cool. Um, and the Larkas actually go up against it, so that's how they manage to sort of get away. And then we get sort of the moment we've all been waiting for when they're about to test Omega's blood, and I think we all know the result. Though they send some troopers to capture them. They notice that the transmitter on the crash shuttle is just not going to work out, so they go with Plan 72. And the stormtroopers drop in, but as they're dropping in, good old Omega drops into their shuttle, and she gets saved by her old friend Larka right there. She basically hijacks the ship for the stormtroopers. Crosser gets in, and they sort of start blasting their way out. They do send V-wings behind them to catch them, but as they're doing so, guess what? They finally make they finally complete the test in Omega's blood, and lo and behold, she is the one. So as the doc is monitoring the chase, um, Emery comes in and says, "Hey, no, like, don't shoot at them because she's the one. She is viable for a full transfer of midichlorians, basically." To which he says, "Okay, let them go," and they get away. Right? He's like, "That's fine. It doesn't matter. I have like unlimited resources. We'll catch up with her again." And that's basically it. So episode 3, um, Shadows of Tantis, pretty good. Uh, it's always good to see Palps. In my opinion, I love the way he looks, love the way he sounds, and no, I don't think there was a real like big reveal. Let's say in this episode, I think we all kind of knew that Palpatine was interested in cloning, and specifically in cloning midichlorians, right, or transferring, as they're putting it. Which I find it interesting because they're not saying they're cloning, I guess, midichlorians. They're saying, hey, we are transferring, we are putting them into, right, a clone, maybe. So that's kind of interesting. Choice of words, right? Um, very cool to see again that chamber, the vault. We hadn't seen it. They talked about it since the first episode. Now we kind of see it again. We don't see the inside, but I have to guess that if they are pumping midichlorian blood into other samples, and they're doing it on a daily basis, then yeah, that's got to be it. Which brings me to my complaint. Okay, so I'm nitpicking. That's what I do. Why if they're taking Omega's blood on the daily, how did it take 5.5 months to detect that she is what they're looking for. What the literally all they're doing is looking for that sample. And in the first episode, they showed her getting about to get tested for the first time, right? And that's like a month into her being there, which again, I don't know why it took him so long, but okay, I'll let that one slide. And Nala says like, nope, we're just gonna destroy your sample and stuff. Okay, all right. So they destroy the sample. All right, that makes sense. But if you're Emery, if you're the doctor, wouldn't it be a flag when they're like, hey, I see these reports every day, and every time it's just dudes, it's just male clones. Yet we have one female clone. I have not seen that come across my reports, my daily reports, ever in the past 5 months. Uh, wouldn't that sort of, kind of be a thing? Like, hey, does anybody know what the result of Omega is? Like, I'm at this point, I'm just curious, like, because I can't find it. I'm looking, I did a quick search on my files, and none of the samples are, designated Omega. So, anybody want to explain that? Why, in 5 months I can't get a result for the only female clone sample that we should have taken in those 5 months? Again, yes, I'm nitpicking, but come on. When you show me getting her blood drawn, like I think it was 3 times on camera, then I have to assume that if it's not on the daily, okay, fine, it's not daily that they draw her blood. It's probably like weekly then. And so again, plenty of reports that go out. At some point somebody's got to ask questions, right? At some point somebody's got to be like, what was she again? Was she a negative also? Like, what's going on with her? I don't know, especially with all the attention that she gets, right? For being the assistant, for being sort of the pet of the lab. I don't know. I bumped into that. I bumped into that because they made it a point to show us how much time has passed, right? That months have passed. And all of a sudden, oh yeah, by the way, yeah, no, she's the one. Like, really? Really? Now? Anywho, Archer saying, yeah, the episode was pretty straightforward. It was, don't get me wrong. It had some really cool parts. Again, seeing Palpatine is always very cool, but we kind of know why he's there. He even says it, right? He says, you know why I'm here. And I think he's talking to us, the audience. Nerdfillian says the lady was destroying her sample. Yes, but day in and day out. Yeah, it's just dude samples every time. That's what I'm saying. Like, we know of 2 female clones, right? One is Emery, supposedly. I'm still not buying it, by the way, but supposedly it's Emery. Okay. I'm sure she got tested years ago by this point. And the only other one is Omega, right? So wouldn't that, again, I would be curious. I'm like, hey, how come in all this, 3,000 samples, I only see dudes? Like, what's up with that? And Archer says, and why won't his assistant samples do the same thing since she's female too? Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, they they ruled her out, with just one sample. Yet Omega gets, you know, they keep drawing her blood like repeatedly. Again, at least 3 times that we saw on camera, right? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I bumped into that again. Yes, I am nitpicking. I do recognize that. But if you make it a plot point, right, that it's her blood that's very special, then I'm gonna question why it took so long. I'm sorry. That's just logical for me. Hey, we got Collect to Disconnect coming in. What's going on, man? Thank you so much for joining. Saying only had time to watch the first episode. Just stopping by, say hi. I'll cut up for the next week video. Hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And if you like Collect to Disconnect, have not had the chance to watch the episode right now, please go ahead, do so. Watch your episodes. Maybe grab some popcorn, maybe grab a cold one. Watch all 3 episodes. Chill, digest them. Come back here, catch the replay, and then in the comments, let me know. Am I am I reading too much into this? Am I being a little bit too harsh on the show already? Let me know. Let me know. I'm curious. Archer saying, I'm watching Halo now with this show. I know Bad Batch pretend it's not. Dude, Halo looks so good though. It looks so good. And I was kind of checked out of Halo. And then they said just one word for season two. They were like, oh, by the way, Reach. And I was like, I'm in. I'm back in. I don't care. Let's do it. And then I watched the first, what is it, like 7 minutes of the first episode. I'm like, oh, dude, they are killing it. And then they didn't. Then it was just back to the same crap. So yeah, that's on me. That's on me for believing. Okay, that's on me for hoping. Uh, yeah. So I gotta catch up. You actually reminded me. I've only seen episodes 1 and 2, so I do have to jump on that. Uh, Rolando saying hi to Collect to Disconnect. Juan saying hello there. How you guys doing? Doing good, man. We're about to wrap up. We were talking about Bad Batch season 3, episodes 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so overall, um, episode 3 had the best scenes. I think that Omega kicking that mouse door just gets me. But in my opinion, I enjoyed episode 2 a little bit more because, like I said, I'm here for the clones. I'm here for the clones stories. All right. And so I really liked that they sort of addressed some of what the cadets are going through, because they didn't even made it to troopers, right? They didn't made it to full on soldiers. So they're like, hey, what do we do now, right? And they're still getting exterminated. So I like those kind of details. I like that they finally mentioned Echo and Rex. Again, we don't have to see them right now. I don't want to see them quite yet. Give me another 2 episodes without them. That's fine. Love to see Palpatine. We knew we were gonna see him, so I kind of did like that they got it out of the way, so to speak. No surprises. I don't think there was anything. I didn't feel there was a wow moment, uh, or a revelation, or a holy crap, I did not see that one coming, type of moment in all 3 episodes. But hey, we still got plenty of episodes left, so an okay start. Kind of slow, if I'm being honest. Like I said, I did nod off on that first episode. Not half of it was that I was really really tired that day. Half of it was the episode. But yeah, overall, I wouldn't say an exciting start to the show, but you know, we still got plenty of opportunity here. So let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think? Was this as exciting as you hoped? Was this a good pace for you, or are you catching them all as they come out? In the next few weeks, we're going to get 1 episode per week, which again we will be covering here in the debrief. Are you going to watch it as it comes out, or are you just going to wait and maybe catch 2 or 3 at a time? So I'm curious to see. So let me know in the comments. Let me catch up here with the last few comments, and then we will wrap it up. Juan is saying, I'll watch it tomorrow and come back here to comment. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. We got 2, 3 Collect saying, I'm here to watch General Kenobi open some on card field. Oof, that we just did that, man. You missed it. Yeah, you just gonna have to watch the entire replay to find out when that happened. Just kidding. Anyway, so thank you once again to everybody for joining me here on this first comeback show of the debrief. We are gonna be talking Bad Batch season 3 as long as Bad Batch season 3 is happening. So make sure that you check us out next week. Excuse me. Also, please check us out over on Instagram, general.kenobis.bunker, over at TikTok at general_kenobis_bunker, and on Facebook. Yes, it's misspelled. I still don't know what happened. So please go check us out there too. We're trying to grow that page. The link is actually pinned here on the top of the chat. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about the Bad Batch season 3 premiere, the final season, which I think, if this is the final season, you kind of want to go, with a um, higher rate of action, or story development. But that's just me. So there it is, guys. Thank you again for joining me. Hope that you have an awesome weekend. Catch up on Bad Batch. Come back here, let me know, and then I will catch you next week for sure on the next episode of Debrief. We're going to be talking about Bad Batch uh, season 3, episode 4. Again, only one episode. So we're probably going to be able to take a deeper dive into it. But again, make sure that you stay tuned for that. Thank you again for joining me here. Have a good night, and may the force be with you.